Scientists were conducting experiments together.
And there were troops everywhere outside the laboratory. It turned out that this experiment is not that simple. The engineer was changing the drill bit for the machine.
The replace bit is magnified 1,000 times.
A super nanobug appeared above.
Not only did they easily chew up
Extremely hard diamond drill bit, and the reproduction rate was amazing. The engineer noticed something was wrong.
he picked up the drill and looked.
The drill bit was disappearing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The engineer was so scared that he wanted to leave here quickly, but the superior told him to just leave. It turned out that his protective clothing had been bitten through.
He subconsciously tried to pull the bug off with his hands, but can it be pulled off?
He banged on the door desperately and asked the commander to open the door and let him out. But the officers outside remained unmoved. After 20 seconds, the engineer fell to the ground bleeding from 7 holes. His whole body was eaten away by nanoworms. At this time, the staff was horrified to discover that the steel lock that binds the giant
Was being devoured by nanobugs at a speed visible to the naked eye.
even the certified tempered glass
Also gradually cracked. Upon seeing this, the leader quickly pressed the gas button.
make a flame of 108,888 degrees.
It's been burning for 77.5 minutes.
But when the flame gradually stops, the leader's eyes widened. They were shocked to find that nothing had happened to the giant.
Then he slowly raised his hands. Do you think he is going to surrender?
The giant's hand began to decompose into countless nanobugs. Leaders realized that the situation is not over. They wanted to get out
But
quickly.
he was encouraged by the chief that it was not the end yet.
It shows how dedicated the commander is. Glass started to break,
Countless nanobugs.
swarmed out. In an instant, everything in the laboratory was chewed up to the head. At this time, troops stationed outside also sensed ominous signs. The lab gate starts to shake. And bang!
The 80-ton metal gate flies out 30 meters high.
Countless nanobugs swarmed out. The commander quickly ordered to open fire. This was an extremely risky task for the special force.
It was not suppressed by the onslaught of army artillery shells.
The more we fight the nanobugs,
The more the number of them increased.
some soldiers saw this scene and ran away quickly.
But it was too late. Nanobugs travel at 100 meters per second.
Devour the entire army.
Nanobugs did not stop. They spread it quickly around.
A truck driver on the road
Found something strange.
Before he could see clearly what the hell was going on,
A swarm of nanobugs has started to gnaw behind.
a large truck with a cabin of 18 meters long.
In just the blink of an eye, it was reduced to ashes, even if Iron Man comes.
He can barely stand for 15 seconds.
Wherever the nanoworms go, no grass grows. Even the billboards on the roadside were devoured.
As the number of nanoworms increases,
They swallow faster and faster.
A huge football stadium. It can only last 10 seconds.
This is simply unstoppable.
what's even more frightening, they
is-
continue to attack densely populated cities.
America will disappear from the map in less than 24 hours, and the only person that can save them is
Keanu Reeves playing as Klaatu.
It turned out not long ago. NASA announced that they discovered
a flying object similar to a meteorite, hitting the Earth at a speed of 30 kilometers per second.
the Ministry of National Defense urgently summoned a group of top scientists to study and test. Helen Bengtson is a microbiologist. She was pulled to the front line by the army overnight.
But how can humans prevent the natural disaster of falling meteorites?
They can only wait for the judgment of fate. All that can be done is praying while waiting for death.
But what everyone didn't expect was that as the countdown ends,
The unknown object suddenly slowed down, gently descended in the middle of a New York park. Not even a single flower or grass was destroyed. As can be seen, this alien species was still quite civilized and friendly, but the heavily armed soldiers weren't there to slack off. This white glowing ball of light.
A group of scientists put on protective suits.
they all gathered around.
Human beings looked so small standing under the ball of light.
At this time, Helen seemed to feel something. She slowly approached the ball of light.
When she comes to the ball of light, a hand seemed to stretch out from the light ball and wanted to shake Helen's hand.
Just when they were about to come into contact,
Suddenly, there was a gunshot.
red liquid instantly splashed on Helen's face.
Human was too rude, a complete waste of the friendliness. The alien fell into Helen's arms.
The tense atmosphere is not over yet.
Suddenly, a 50-meter metal giant walked out.
The light ball soldiers quickly entered the first level of combat status, but the giant just roared a little. All the soldiers had splitting headaches.
One after another fell to the ground. Apparently, the giant is a little angry.
Just as the giant strode forward,
When preparing to go on a killing spree,
Helen doesn't know what instructions the injured alien gave. Then the giant stood there as if it was turned off.
Helen immediately sought help from medical staff.
The alien was taken to the hospital for treatment.
After a routine operation by the doctor,
Take the bullet out of him quickly. But the doctor found alien skin sheds like whale blubber.
everyone there felt incredulous.
When the doctor took away a large basin of epidermis,
A humanoid creature appeared in front of everyone.
like a newborn adult,
After dressing the alien,
He was put in an insulated box.
But after waking up, the alien kept struggling to escape from the incubator. Seeing this, Helen quickly stepped forward to comfort him.
This made the aliens quiet down.
Then the alien told her
His name was Klaatu.
he arrives Earth to promote human civilization.
Saves the Earth.
Because humans fight every day, causing serious damage to the Earth, he wants to talk to United Nations officials about it.
At this time, a senior official came to find Klaatu.
Get straight to the point. Ask him what is the purpose of coming to our Earth. But Klaatu said the Earth was not yours.
He wants to ask United Nations officials to stay away from devastating wars and yearn for peace. After hearing this, senior defense officials were immediately unhappy. She asked Helen to inject him with an anesthetic, aiming to take him to the interrogation room for high-tech interrogation. However, Helen didn't want to hurt him, so she quietly changed the anesthetic to saline water.
After saline injection, Klaatu's hands and feet were tied to a wheelchair. Then he was taken to the interrogation room.
They hooked up a polygraph to him first, but the interrogation experts didn't know anything about Klaatu. I saw the interrogation expert was up to no good.
Klaatu immediately sent out brainwave interference. When the expert saw his machine malfunctioning,
He just wanted to reach out and adjust it.
then the experts were controlled by Klaatu.
And asked about the way out of here.
After knowing the route, he uses superpowers to connect to surveillance and check out the guard at the door, then just close his eyes.
Get roaring sound instantly with wireless headphones.
The guards at the door all had splitting headaches. Then he fell to the ground in pain,
And Klaatu transformed.
put on a crisp suit, walked out of the interrogation room angrily.
Secretary of Defense learns of Klaatu's escape. Be on full alert for criticism immediately.
The alien must be captured.
At this time, Klaatu came to a crowded train station. He wants to meet an alien friend.
But because he is not familiar with the Earth, so he contacted Helen, who had helped him. Helen got the call. She agreed to help him find someone, because she wanted to understand the intentions of this visitor.
Helen also brought her son with her. With the help of Helen,
They came to a McDonald's store, found this 75-year-old young alien friend. It turns out that this old man, he is responsible for observing the movements of human beings on Earth.
he told Klaatu that
Humans don't like peace.
he has been observing the Earth for decades,
There are wars almost every day.
and they are devastating.
Humans have caused huge damage to the Earth. Klaatu hears observers' comments on humans.
Giving such a bad review, he realized humans cannot ensure the safety of the Earth.
So Klaatu decided to start the destruction process.
Completely eradicate humanity. He asked Helen to drive him to a small woods.
Then came to the pond alone, began to summon a mysterious ball of light.
This ball of light slowly surfaced.
Countless little animals crawled into the light ball as if they were summoned. It turns out that this ball of light looks like Noah's Ark.
It's used to protect small animals. At the same time, in the desert, in the Pacific Ocean, in the swamp, at the Great Wall, and at Egypt pyramids, from all over the world, balls of light, large and small, were summoned. This is the clear plan of aliens.
At this time, Helen begged Klaatu to stop the plan.
And told him that humans are not as vicious as he thought.
There is also a loving and compassionate side.
But Klaatu told her
It was too late. The destruction process has started. The Earth will be reborn.
Helen was completely shocked.
She tried his best to convince Klaatu.
but unfortunately,
Military helicopters have found them.
So the three of them ran into the woods to hide.
Just missed the opportunity to convince Klaatu.
What can be worse? On the way to escape,
A helicopter directly captured Helen.
the other two helicopters
Also launched an attack on Klaatu.
Klaatu saw this and used his superpower.
To control helicopters directly.
bump into each other. On the other hand, due to the appearance of the light ball,
Has caused panic among people all over the world.
So the Ministry of Defense issued an order to destroy the giant.
They first sent two drones to take the lead, trying to blow up the giant.
the giant realized the danger,
So it turned on defense mode immediately.
intercepted all the artillery shells fired by drones. This was not over yet.
It also controlled drones.
Hit a tank nearby.
After the danger is over,
The giant shuts down again. The military realized that violence would not work. Decide to be gentle. So 3 forklifts were used. The giant was sealed with a 3-meter thick steel plate.
then transported to the underground base, trying to destroy the giant here. As animals land on the light ball one after another,
The giant also opened his eyes.
the body then broke down into countless nanoparticles.
Attacked the experimental base.
What's even more frightening is, they continue to attack densely populated cities. Less than 24 hours, America will disappear from the map.
At this time, The Minister of Defense quickly found Helen.
She realized the seriousness of the matter.
Hopefully, Helen could convince Klaatu to stop the disaster.
Soon Helen contacted her son. They made an appointment to decipher it at the old place.
The boy then took Klaatu to a cemetery.
His dead father is buried there.
The boy learned Klaatis has the power to resurrect the dead.
He begged Klaatu to help him resurrect his father, but Klaatu said he couldn't.
Because your father's skin has turned to grey.
So I cannot save him. Heard this, the little boy knelt on the ground and cried bitterly, until Helen arrived. Mother and son hugged each other tightly.
She constantly comforted his son and said his father had sacrificed his life for the country. But as long as we inherit his will, which is life bravely.
This is what your father wants to see most. At this time, Klaatu was changed by the mother and son. Maybe humans have a good side too. Not hopeless, but the destruction plan has begun.
Nanobugs have begun to spread here.
Watching the nanobugs attack, Klaatus quickly took the mother and son and hid under the bridge.
As an alien, nanobugs won't invade here.
But the boy suddenly started bleeding from his nose.
He then fainted the next second. Helen also developed the same symptoms.
Klaatu can tell at a glance. This is nanobugs have entered their bodies.
So Klaatu held their hands,
Closed his eyes, used superpowers to transfer nanobugs into his own body. After a while, the boy woke up. Helen was surprised. Hold the child tightly. This scene touched Klaatus again.
He saw the good side of human beings. I believe that humans will make changes after this disaster.
Now, the destruction process has begun.
there's only one way to stop those nanobugs.
That is to let the program initiator die. If the disaster is not resolved in time,
Humanity will become extinct. So Klaatus struggled through the swarm of nanobugs.
walked towards the direction of the light ball.
The moment he came into contact with the ball of light, his body was directly eaten by nanobugs.
Then countless nanobugs rushed towards the shutdown machine and fell down. Klaatus has ended this disaster with his life.
At this moment, people went through this disaster, finally realized only by protecting the Earth, humanity will not be destroyed.
At the end of the story, the ball of light also floated into space.